We've taken a real Moonshinin to Tim Smith in the new Moonshiners spinoff. Let's drink him in. You're never going to see Tim Smith with a shirt on, regardless of the month or the weather. It's been over a decade since we first met Tim during Season 1 of Discovery's Moonshiners, and he's come a long way. For one thing, his moonshine business is legal now. That's right, folks. He's bona fide, and still sans shirt. Of course, that's why we like him. The business gets bigger, but Tim stays the same. Now he's adding another Moonshiners spin-off to the mix. Moonshiners. American Spirit is taking Tim and the team all across the country on the hunt for some famous and infamous lost moonshine recipes. Before we venture out from sea to moonshining sea, let's get to know Tim a bit more. Tim Smith comes from a long line of moonshiners. He's a third-generation Virginian sneaky distiller who managed to take his family's 100-year-old secret recipe and turn it into a national brand called Climax Moonshine. Please get your minds out of the gutter. The name comes from the city where it was birthed. Climax, VA. In 2013, Huffington Post did a moonshine taste test and Climax came out on top. This is not an innuendo. According to the taste testers, it had a spicy flavor, surprisingly gentle ending, and was insanely sweet for moonshine, almost vanilla-y smooth, not too hot. A lot of people wonder how it's possible to legalize moonshine, but the definition is merely that it's unaged. Moonshine is consumed right off the shelf. Beyond the Climax Moonshine, Tim has branched out into whiskey, bourbon, and rye. According to Tim, the idea came from my double rye recipe I have been perfecting, and my partners at Two Trees Distilling made the decision to share our styles with the world. He then introduced these delicious new spirits during Season 8 of Moonshiners and of course his spin-off whiskey business. Speaking of spin-offs, let's dive into American Spirits. Tim will be joined by other Moonshiners favorites, Stephen Ray Tickle and Howard Thompson, as they traverse these United States with the intent of recreating some of America's finest alcoholic beverages. For example, although Franklin Delano Roosevelt grew up in upstate New York, he lived in Georgia for many years. He was partial to his own peach brandy recipe. During one episode of American Spirits, the boys set out to bring that back to life. It's not as simple as finding a recipe and gathering its ingredients. The fellas take painstaking care to try to keep the process as accurate as possible, which means using the tools available at the time. Per Discovery, each week's episode will focus on a single libation, from Benjamin Franklin's liquor in Philly to Franklin Roosevelt's secret moonshine in Georgia. Join Tim, Howard, and Tickle as they learn about the origins of each spirit and its place in the history books. The show is really a love letter to the American spirit in all its forms, from ingenuity to creativity, and back on down to the joy that comes from making something out of nothing. Plus, it's always a joy watching Howard, Tickle, and Tim appreciate the alcohol-infused fruits of their labor. Moonshiners. American Spirit airs on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Discovery. Exploring Moonshiners star Stephen Ray Tickle's net worth and more. Get to know Amanda Bryant from Moonshiners. Master Distiller exploring the life of Moonshiners fan favorite star Mark Rogersweeve, taken a real moonshinin to Tim Smith in the new Moonshiners spinoff. Let's drink him in. The world of moonshine has been immortalized in pop culture, thanks in no small part to shows like Moonshiners, which has captivated audiences since 2011. A reality series that blends real-life brewing techniques with a hefty dose of drama, it introduced us to the grit, hustle, and tradition of making illegal spirits in the Appalachian Mountains. But as with all successful franchises, the road to reinvention can be as unpredictable as the distilling process itself. That's where Tim Smith comes in. Tim Smith is no stranger to the moonshine game. His name has become synonymous with the craft, both in its traditional and modern forms. Smith, who has spent years perfecting the art of moonshine distillation, doesn't just make liquor, he lives it. Known for his authenticity and hands-on approach, he's earned a reputation as one of the most respected figures in the world of illicit brewing. This reputation has only grown as he takes on a new role in the Moonshiners spinoff, Tim Smith's Moonshine Masterclass. This spin-off doesn't just look at moonshine production. It explores its roots, culture, and evolving legacy through the lens of Smith's wealth of experience. As viewers tune in, they'll witness Tim Smith take them on a journey deeper into the art and craft of moonshining, showing us that this isn't just about making alcohol. It's about making history, tradition, and culture live on in a glass. It's a ride. So let's dive into what makes Tim Smith and this new series a perfect match. The man behind the shine. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the new spin-off, it's important to understand who Tim Smith is and what makes him such an integral part of the Moonshiners universe. Smith first became known to audiences when he joined the original Moonshiners series. He didn't just bring his skills to the table. He brought a backstory and authenticity that made his character stand out. Tim wasn't a character. He was a real person. And this authenticity is what has made him so beloved by fans of the show. Smith's roots go deep in the Appalachian Mountains. He's a fifth-generation moonshiner, meaning the art of making illicit liquor has been passed down in his family for over 100 years. His great-grandfather was already running a still in the hills of Virginia, crafting a beverage that would go on to fuel an entire culture. Tim's connection to this craft is more than just blood. It's personal, steeped in his upbringing, his history, and a legacy that runs as deep as the hills themselves. But there's more to Tim Smith than just his family's heritage. In his time on Moonshiners, we saw him as a man of conviction, fiercely dedicated to keeping his family's craft alive while navigating the challenges of an ever-changing legal landscape. He's often the voice of reason among the chaos of the other Moonshiners, as he understands that this isn't just about making money or getting caught. It's about preserving something important, a tradition that's as old as America itself. In short, Tim Smith is the real deal, and that's something that's made him a fan favorite. He's not an actor. He's a genuine moonshiner who has been living this lifestyle for decades. His approach to the craft is meticulous, combining knowledge passed down from generations with new age techniques. And in this new spin-off, we'll see him do what he does best: teach, share, and inspire. The new spin on an old tradition. When Tim Smith's Moonshine Masterclass was first announced, fans had a lot of questions. Would this be the same old reality TV formula we've seen before, where outlandish situations and forced drama take center stage? Or would this spin-off offer something more substantive, tapping into the deep well of knowledge and culture that makes moonshining so fascinating? The answer is simple. It's the latter. This new series isn't just about moonshine making, it's about moonshine living. Smith takes viewers on a journey that spans far beyond just distilling. He delves into the history, the challenges, and the innovation that have defined moonshine for centuries. From the origins of moonshine in the United States to the modern-day craft distilleries that continue the tradition, Tim takes us through every step of the process with an eye for detail and a passion that's truly infectious. What sets Tim Smith's Moonshine Masterclass apart from other spin-offs or shows in the genre is that it isn't just about the mechanics of moonshining. Yes, you'll learn how to make your own mash and distill your own shine without getting arrested, but you'll also come to appreciate the cultural significance of this art form. You'll see the struggles that came with prohibition, the relationship between moonshine and bootlegging, and the resilience of those who kept the craft alive in the face of adversity. Tim also brings in guests, fellow Moonshiners, historians, and even legal experts to round out the experience, offering a rich, multifaceted look at everything moonshine. But above all, it's Tim Smith's charisma and genuine passion for this craft that elevates the entire series. A lesson in heritage and craftsmanship at the heart of this spin-off is a simple truth. Moonshine isn't just about alcohol. It's about craftsmanship, history, and legacy. In a world where everything seems to be moving faster and faster, with people constantly looking for shortcuts or hacks, Tim Smith's approach to moonshining is a reminder that the best things in life take time, patience, and dedication. In each episode, viewers are taken through the painstaking process of making moonshine from start to finish. Smith emphasizes that great shine is made from quality ingredients, and he's a stickler for the little things. From the right kind of corn to the perfect copper still, he teaches not just the how of moonshining, but the why. He doesn't just want you to make moonshine. He wants you to make great moonshine, the kind that would make your great-grandfather proud. But it's not just about making liquor. It's about understanding the soul of the craft. Through his stories, Tim reveals the blood, sweat, and tears that went into every batch of moonshine in the past. He talks about how Prohibition forced moonshiners into a corner, creating a cat and mouse game with law enforcement that required ingenuity, courage, and a fair amount of risk-taking. The spin-off explores the importance of maintaining the